Greetings, Missouri Mid-South Conference. I bring you greetings this afternoon from your conference office here in the Missouri Mid-South Conference, actually in the break room. This has been where we have greeted folks as they have attended the convocation at Eden Theological Seminary, and we had open house and had wonderful folks here all day on Tuesday and on Wednesday. And so I bring you greetings because for the past 2 days, Eden Theological Seminary has had phenomenal lectures looking at the theme of Forward Through Ferguson and how our theological understanding of what has happened not only in Ferguson but throughout the United States, what is our biblical and theological foundation in that? Dr. Walter Brueggemann, a son of the Missouri Mid-South Conference, delivered really unbelievable lectures in giving us scriptures from the Hebrew scriptures and the Christian scriptures on our American Pharaoh, as well as challenging the concept of chosenness as we have heard it and studied it in the scriptures, and now as we are hearing it in different expressions throughout our politics and our culture. In both of these situations, I am excited that Eden provides this kind of continuing education for our ministers and for our lay people, that they may know and feel and understand that there are many ways of learning and continuing learning. Continuing education is very important for not only those in professional circles, but also in our churches and our ministers. I hope that after Easter, your minister, or if you are a minister, that you are taking time off. Number one, to rest from the busy experience of Holy Week and Easter, but number two, to gain education. Continuing education is very important. I believe that it continues to sharpen our skills as ministers, both from a biblical, theological, and a practical ministry perspective of how to be ministers and spiritual guides for those in our congregation. I would invite you, if you are a layperson, to ask your pastor what conference or continuing education opportunity is your pastor engaged in or planning to attend in the year 2016? My hope is that your church provides a line item for your ministers so that they may attend either Eden Theological Seminary lectures, spring or fall convocation, or other, maybe the Festival of Preachers that happens in May. I will name that I'm about to go and use 2 days of my continuing education as your conference minister. I'm attending a UCC Stewardship Conference in Orlando, sponsored by the United Church of Christ and the Disciples of Christ, and the theme is Stepping into Stewardship, which many of us clergy and ministers either weren't trained very well in how to talk about and preach about and teach about what it means to be generous in our giving of time, talents, and money, but also that we really don't know. We don't have a good understanding of what does it take to put together a budget, especially for a lot of our churches and our conference. What does it take to live within our means when our means are more limited every year? So I'm really excited about attending this conference and to gain new education that I can bring back to all of us in talking about money. We don't like to do it, but it's something that is a part of who we are. And in fact, it's an issue that Jesus talks about more than a lot of our other social issues. So how are we engaging each other in talking about money and talking about generosity? For those of you in the Western Association, this will be my keynote presentation for your spring meeting. And for those in the Eastern Association, this will be the workshop that I will provide for your spring association meeting. And so I invite you to support your ministers to take their continuing education time. It is not time where your ministers are off eating bonbons and not doing anything. It's time where they are able to pull away from the busyness of your everyday church life and to really ask the questions, to engage. What is God saying? How is God calling us to deepen or challenge us or move us to the next step? Just as Walter Brueggemann challenged us to consider the American pharaohs of our time today and the ways in which the purity laws of the Hebrew Scriptures are so similar to the issues of separate but equal and the pipeline of the jail system and the education system that in some places is failing our children and our adults. These are the questions that come when we encourage and invite our ministers to take their continuing education time so that they can learn and they can come back deeper and stronger ministers for all of God's beloved community. On behalf of the Missouri Mid-South Conference, I thank you, churches, for offering that space and time and money so that your ministers can continue their education in what it means to be the United Church of Christ. May God's beloved community be deeper and wider because of continuing education in all forms and expressions, this day and forevermore. Amen.